in my career, that's happened a lot. Even when I was super young in my career, I remember there's, friends, family, roommates, teammates, people that just didn't see what I saw in my career path, and saw some opportunities in what I was doing. Outside looking in, I can tell why they maybe didn't see it. But as I've traveled and got a chance to visit different parts of the country, when I'm sitting on a flight and happen to be sitting next to someone who's a successful entrepreneur or a successful business person, it's amazing how they get it. And it's amazing how it makes sense to them. So I want to cover a couple main things if you guys are taking notes. So first I want to start with sharing my screen here and asking you guys a question for those of you that are on screen. So in relation to my quote, so I see a few of you on screen. Jason, what do you see? I see you on screen.
I see a young lady turn to her side, like the side viewer.
You see a young lady turn to her side. And I don't see everyone just based on the screen that I have. So does anyone see anything differently?
There's also an older woman. She has like a head wrap on, and the chin is her nose.
Okay.
What?
Okay. Yeah. So it's interesting, right? So does everybody? I see Jessica. How are you, Jessica? Good morning. Do you see both? Do you see the young lady as well as the older lady in this picture?
To be honest, Ken, I don't.
Okay. So yeah, no, I appreciate it. So you see the young lady turn to her side, right?
Correct.
So if you look down here at this picture, this is the chin, this is the mouth, this is the nose.
Yeah, I got it. Yep.
And this is the kind of the head wrap, and the eyes are right here, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's very interesting, right? So this is an example of it's very interesting that we can all be looking at the same thing, but we actually see something differently, right? So think about that. We're all looking at the same picture, the same opportunity, the same, I don't know, relationship, whatever. And we can all see very, very different things. I know when I was young in some of the relationships that I had before I met my wife, I mean, outside looking in, I remember my brother saying to me one time, I knew that one wasn't going to work out. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's like, I told you numerous times about all the issues, but you didn't see it. You were so in quote unquote love, you weren't willing to listen. Right. And so I think that happens a lot, that we, based on our values, based on how we're looking at things, we oftentimes aren't seeing what other people are seeing. So when it comes to vision and how it can help you be successful in your life, I put together just a list of things I wanted to share. Number one is, what do you want? What do you want? Most people don't take time to think about what they want and seriously think about it. Most people, I guess, daydream a little bit about it, like in the shower, and they're just or when they're riding and listening to music, they start, daydreaming about how they want their lives to change and they want their lives to get better and they want things to improve in their relationships. And so they kind of have some thoughts around it, but they don't really sit down and think, what do I want my life to look like? Who are the people I want to have in my life? The types of people, their character, their mindset, their work ethic. Oftentimes we don't think about those things. And the tough part is when you start thinking about it, you start realizing, at least I did in my 20s, and even later in my life, there's certain individuals in my life that really weren't going to be, that didn't align with what I wanted my life to look like, especially how they treated people and how they talked to people and how negative they were about, you know, the successful people in the world. And so point number one is you got to think about what you want. You got to have in a way, a shining star, a destination. I can tell you when I was a young entrepreneur, I was 23, 24 years old. I'll never forget it. You know, one of the things I used to do when I was right about this time of year, November, December, I used to, you know, again, back then, this is when newspapers were actually something people looked at. Some of you guys don't even know what that is probably. But a newspaper on Sunday would actually have a bunch of flyers in it and a bunch of like catalogs from the major retailers, like the Best Buys and the Targets and whatever. And I remember one year when I was a young entrepreneur, I was probably 2 years in business. I was 24 maybe. And I looked at this Best Buy catalog because, you know, I like technology, I like gadgets, I like TVs, I like stereo systems. You know, that's the kind of stuff, especially as a young guy, I wanted to have a nice surround sound system and whatever. And I remember flipping through this magazine and opening up to the centerfold of the Best Buy magazine. And I remember seeing this picture of this living room. And it was like, it was, in my eyes, it was perfect. It had like an L-shaped couch. It had an ottoman, a leather ottoman. It had a laptop on it. It had like a 50, back then 50-inch, you know, TV was big. It had like a 50-inch flat screen TV. This is like before flat screens were really flat screens. This is when they cost like $5,000 for a 32-inch screen TV. And, you know, it was on the wall and then had these speakers on the side that were just hanging on the wall, and then had this like system right in the middle of the PlayStation and all this other stuff. And it had these white windows next to it that had these nice, you know, blinds on them. And I remember taking that thing out of the magazine and I literally put it on my bathroom mirror. And every morning when I got up, it was just something that was visible to me when I got ready for work and I got off to work. And like literally that was on my bathroom mirror for, I don't know, 2-3 years. And I was again dreaming and thinking and really trying to move towards having my own place. This is back when I lived in apartments. And you know, I ended up moving to another place and moving again, and I ended up losing the thing. And then I'll tell you, I was 26 years old. And I started watching different self-help like videos and CDs and development things. And there's this one called The Law of Attraction. And I remember watching this Law of Attraction video, and, you know, I thought it was kind of weird and interesting, and, you know, I started thinking about it. And the idea behind the Law of Attraction is based on what you think about, you attract to your life. And one part of the video, it started talking about creating a vision of what you want. And as they're talking through this and different examples of it, and like Oprah Winfrey was talking about it, and, you know, the guy who wrote, what's it called? This Soup of the Soul is another kind of line of books or something. He was on the video. And it just talked about how people were, you know, 10 years prior, 5 years prior, were thinking about this certain life they want to live, and how it was created afterwards. And I remember standing up out of my, watching this thing on my TV, and standing up for a second, and literally deja vu, and I fell over and I hit my, you know, face on the floor. And I remember like getting so startled, and I like stood there for a second, and I like looked around. And the picture, and it literally came to my mind, the picture of that Best Buy cutout was my living room in my condo that I had bought. I had the flat screen on the wall. I had the speakers next to it. I had the big windows on the side. It was the kind of the 4th floor corner unit. I had hardwood floors, granite countertops. I had an L-shaped couch with an ottoman. Like, it was so scary. Like, it was such deja vu that it literally freaked me out. And I remember like thinking about, I remember calling my mom and talking to my dad about it, and talking to my brother, and I remember my mom, saying something to the extent of, well, honey, you're working hard. You should hit your goals. Like, it was just such subtle things that she would say to me. Like, you're working hard. Yeah, I'm not surprised. You work really hard. I don't know what you do, but you work really hard, And so, but I share that with you guys because I think it's important to really think about what you want and have visuals in your world. So that's number one. Number two is you have to activate your emotions. You have to activate your emotions. So the old saying is that emotion creates motion. And there's actually been a lot of studies that are done. There's an institute called the Heart Math Institute. For 25 years. They've been doing studies and the connection between the heart and the mind. Over 250 studies have been done. And they've discovered, after all these different studies, that the heart actually has a little brain. It actually has 40,000 neurons that send signals back and forth to your brain. And the heart, of course, it creates higher cognitive function, which creates emotion, right? And that emotion gets translated to your brain, and then in your brain is where decisions are made. And so it's interesting, as I was reading about this and I was starting to learn about this, to me, it makes total sense, right? So when you're upset about something, you're not doing your thing. So okay, go ask mommy, okay?
She won't give me them. She's sick.
Hey, bud, I know.
Can you give me them?
When I'm done with the call, I will. Give me a few minutes. Sorry, guys. This is a life of working from the house and having a 5-year-old who is very, very persistent, by the way. All right, so with that being said, getting fired up and getting mad and having emotions around what you want to accomplish is normally the beginning of change, is the beginning of things happening and moving in your favor. And again, I remember playing soccer in college and, getting hit really hard in a game or having something happen that really pissed me off, and then playing some of the best soccer that I've ever played because of that, that interaction or that hit or that, issue. So when it comes to goals, though, when it comes to your vision, you got to think to yourself, what fires you up? What emotion can you create? Maybe it is a negative, maybe it's a pissed off emotion. Maybe it's a positive emotion. I know for me, I do my best work when I'm pissed, when I'm like fired up about and I'm upset about something, because it just gets my whole body moving, right? And so super, super important to activate your emotions. All right, number three. Buddy, here, take this. Go ahead, do your thing. Number three is creating awareness around your strengths and weaknesses. So when you're thinking of your vision, you're thinking of what you want, you're starting to get emotionally fired up about things you want to accomplish. Now it's important to think about, hey, what strengths do I have? How are my strengths and weaknesses? How does it align with where I want to go? And so one of the things that I did earlier in my career, and I've done lately with business coaches, is something called a SWOT analysis. A SWOT analysis is going over your strengths, your weaknesses, and putting it on paper, and then thinking about the opportunities you have, and then thinking about threats, things that maybe get in your way that are blind spots, that are going to keep you from reaching your goals. And the important thing here, as you go through the SWOT analysis, is then take that SWOT analysis and get in front of a coach, get in front of someone who's in a position that you want to be in, and get feedback. Get feedback about, hey, is this, am I crazy to think that I'm going to accomplish these types of career goals? And, is the timeline off? What am I missing here? And, a coach and the right coach will help you level up. They'll be honest with you. They'll help you grow. They'll help you get better. And for me, I ask myself, who can I outsource that help me? So if I have certain strengths and I need to get better at certain weaknesses, I'm like now putting myself and I'm planning that time every week to get in front of people that can help improve my, you know, my SWOT analysis, my situation. And then you got to make plans, and you literally have to put it in your schedule and create a strategy around the people that are going to help move you towards your vision and help move you towards things. So that's number 3, is create awareness around your strengths and weaknesses and do a SWOT analysis. And like I said, I've done this a few times in my career, especially when I was young in my career and I wasn't making a lot of traction towards the goals I wanted. And I felt like I was just going through the hamster wheel and over and over and over, and I wasn't moving towards things. This was huge. And I'll tell you, if you have the right coach, you have the right person in your corner, and you actually take action, then that person will push you. They'll help you get better. They'll challenge you. They won't just, you know, be the nice person. They'll definitely nudge you and poke at you a little bit and help you improve. But the key is you have to want that for you first. You have to want the, you know, the opportunity to level up. All right. So now that you create some awareness around your strengths and weaknesses, number 4 is you got to plan your attack and attack your plan. You know, one of the analogies that is always used is the health field, right? And getting healthy. You know, it's like people all want 6-pack abs. They all want to look good in a bikini. Not me. I just like looking good in shorts. But others like to look good in bikinis and look good when they go to the beach, right? And, you know, I don't remember the last time somebody said, yeah, I got a 6-pack, or I look fantastic. I look super hot in my bikini. And I haven't been to the gym. I haven't been doing any exercise, right? That doesn't happen. You have to like plan it out. You got to move towards it. You got to do something. And the other one, just in business, it's like, I don't know when the last time somebody built a multi-million-dollar business on a weekend. I just happened to fall in my lap. Yeah, I run a $30-40 million business. I built a $100 million company. It just kind of fell into it, right? That doesn't happen. And if it does, that means their parents gave it to them, right? And listen, I don't know about you guys, but I don't have that opportunity. My parents didn't give me anything. They told me to go to work, right? And I'll tell you, Tony Robbins talks about, you know, he talks about vision. He says, if you talk about it, it's a dream. If you envision it, it's possible. If you schedule it, then it'll become real. So I'll say that again. If you talk about it, it's a dream. If you envision it, it's possible. If you schedule it, it starts to become real. And again, you're not going to create the life you want just by daydreaming about it in the shower. You're not going to create the life that you want by, you know, just thinking about it when it's convenient. You have to sit down and create 30 minutes to an hour and think through what you want to do, and then follow up on a weekly basis. And I know you guys can't see my office here at the house, but on my wall, I literally have my monthly goals. The first day of the month, I write down 3 or 4 goals for the month that I want to accomplish in my day-to-day in my business. And I review it. I looked at it this morning when I was putting together my notes for this, right? I have a vision of where I want to go. I'm constantly looking, I'm thinking to myself, am I moving towards those goals? Am I doing what I need to do to accomplish these goals this month, right now? And I'm pushing myself to think how to make changes and how to hit those goals. And so which comes into my number 4 point is you got to put your goals and your vision on paper. And you have to look at them daily. They got to be somewhere where it's constantly in your mind. And you got to ask yourself on a daily basis, am I moving towards my goals? What did I do yesterday to help me reach my goals? Are there things that I'm doing right now that are getting in the way of my goals? I remember, I mean, for me in particular, and I say this to some of the guys I work with sometimes, is, you know, when your days become more important than your nights, in my opinion, you're moving towards wanting to be more successful than just wanting to be a kid. Like there's a maturity piece to being successful. And I can tell you, I wasn't very mature for a lot of my career, right? I cared more about partying until 2 or 3 in the morning and playing video games until 2 and 3 in the morning. And we all do it. You just got to grow through those times. You got to think to yourself, how badly do you want to come through for your family? How badly do you want to move out of your parents' place? How badly do you want to have, you know, a car that you buy that you want to get as opposed to one you have to have? Like there's just certain things that, you know, that you have to do. And then, you know, what I tell myself on a daily basis, one of the things that I do, and I literally trick myself, and whether or not I'm moving towards my goals, or you know, there's obviously some days you make massive steps to your goals, and then some days you fall behind. I literally tell myself every day that I'm making progress to my goals. Go ahead. And so, and why do I do that? Why do I tell myself every day that I'm making progress? And it's real simple. It builds my own confidence that I'm moving towards my goals. And I'm more likely to move towards my goals when I feel good, as opposed to when I'm not feeling good. So do yourself a favor and build your confidence in that, and tell yourself that I'm making progress. I am making progress. I'm making progress. All right. And then last but not least, in putting goals on paper, one of the most important things you can do to help you reach your goals is to create a vision board. And what is a vision board? A vision board is literally putting together pictures, quotes, different things. Can you turn that down, please? Thank you. Putting together quotes, pictures, and different things that can help you move towards the goals that you want, right? So what it does by creating a vision board is you're activating something called the reticular activation system in your mind. And the reticular activation system is the system that actually starts when you start thinking about, so give an example. If you start thinking about a Ferrari and start thinking about a Ferrari, an Enzo, and Ferrari, and you're thinking, then all of a sudden you start seeing Ferraris on the road. Maybe in a different way, you start thinking about a red truck, right? You haven't been thinking about a red truck, but I'm talking about a red truck. So now you're seeing a red truck, right? So it's the system in your mind that when you start thinking about it, now when you drive on the road, you're going to see more of those things that actually align with what you're thinking. And so this has to do with the subconscious mind. So the more you see and the more of the things that you want, then the more of those things are going to come into your life. There's going to be people, there's going to be opportunities, there's going to be, relationships that will help you move towards what you talk about, what you think about, by activating your reticular activation system. And I'll tell you guys, so again, I'm going to share with you guys, I know some of you guys aren't on screen, but I made a vision board myself a few years ago. And I see you, Jessica. Can you see that? Good. Okay. So this is my vision board. This is something I put together a while ago, 2-3 years ago. And you'll see a lot of pictures of my family. You'll see a picture right in the middle of my wife and I on our very first date. I took her to a Penn State game, a whiteout game, actually against University of Michigan. Kind of cool. We had field seats that day. Talk about a first date, huh? But, you know, and then there's other things on here. So I have pictures of my parents and their example. And, you know, they were married for many, many years before, unfortunately, they passed from cancer. So that example of the type of world and family I want to be. You know, I have pictures of our kids and our trips that we've been on. You know, I have here family time, freedom. I have vacations. You'll see a couple homes on here. I enjoy snowboarding on the West Coast during the wintertime. What I'm working towards is having 3 different homes. one for work, one for the beach, and one for snowboarding. And, you know, and then there's other pictures on here, like the World Cup trips. The reason I work, you know, and I want to do well is to have the freedom of time and the finances to go to every World Cup for the rest of my life, and to take my family and my buddies and my partners in the business. And then the other ones are, you know, are things like, you know, a quote on here, it says, "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better." And I truly believe that. I don't believe life is easy. I just believe you make choices on a daily basis to you know, do well. There's another one here at the bottom that I like, where it's a picture of a plane and a Bentley, and it says, "Remember that guy that gave up? Neither do I. Neither do I." And, you know, ultimately, I have nothing against people that don't follow through in their dreams, but I know that in life, like there's a lot of value in scarcity. So, you know, the reason why doctors and lawyers and high-end physicians make $250,000, $500,000 a year or become multimillionaires is because they are able to do things with, you know, their studies that other people just aren't willing to do. And so when things get hard, I look at this vision board and I remind myself of why I do what I do. And, you know, to me, that's entrepreneurship. That's leadership. That's life. And, you know, and I'll tell you, and I started this call, I talked about vision is the art of seeing things that other people don't. Right? And I see certain opportunities, like in the business that I'm in, there's certain opportunities that I see that other people may not see. And I love that. I not that I don't want a lot of people to see it. I do. I want a lot of people to see the opportunity we have and everything else. But I also know that if everyone sees it, then the people who do see it, they're not going to be as valuable. So the few tend to see opportunities. Right. And that's what entrepreneurship is. There's certain things that are created around us. And I think of my home or the pool in the back and all this, you know, there's certain people that created certain things that other people never saw before them. Well, that's what helped them make millions, because they saw it, they created, they started in their mind and they did their thing. So remember that with scarcity comes value. So guys, just in review, to help you with your vision, you got to think about what you want. You got to then activate your emotions. Without emotion, there will be no motion. So you have to get fired up about it. And then you got to create some awareness around your strengths and weaknesses to figure out, you know, what skills you have and who in your world you can, who you got to bring into your world to help you reach your goals, and who can help push you to reach your goals. And then you got to start planning your attack and start thinking about, how am I going to get there, and the day to day, the week over week, and putting your goals on paper. You know, one of the quotes I heard when I was young in my career was, people always overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year, and they also underestimate what they can accomplish in 10 years. So think about that. They overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year, and they underestimate what they can accomplish in 10 years. And so, you know, it's, as you create the goals, you put them on paper, you know, I just say, think big. Create a vision board that's the life that you want, not the life that your mom wants, your dad wants, your brother, your friends, the life that you want. You know, and again, we all have one life. And in my opinion, make it fucking amazing. Sorry for the language, but make it amazing.